You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
We are about to get started on our first Cabral HouseCall of the weekend. Really excited about the shows that we have coming up for you this weekend. A lot of our community questions, all of course based around wellness, weight loss, and anti-aging. And I just finished a full day at my practice in Boston. A lot of amazing calls with people literally from all around the world. Spoke with some, first person was actually this morning from Canada. They had to wake up bright and early as well. They were on the West Coast, I'm on the East Coast. I spoke with someone in the UK. I've spoke with a bunch of people in the US through Skype and also in person. So a really fun day, a lot of different types of cases to work on. But here's the amazing thing. Each and every year, I'm seeing the functional medicine, the naturopathic medicine, the Ayurvedic, the orthomolecular, the traditional Chinese medicine, all these different so-called alternative practices grow each and every year. And there's a reason why. People are getting tired of simply being prescribed legalized drugs for their symptoms. Because by now, we know that if you're being given a medication, just because you take that medication doesn't mean you get better. Yes, the symptoms go away or they lessen, but that doesn't mean you get better. And here's the very, very simple and dead giveaway why. If you come off that medication for any reason, whether you were told to, not told to, whatever it might be, your symptoms come back. Meaning, like if you have high blood pressure, you come off your beta blocker, calcium channel blocker, whatever it might be, your high blood pressure comes back. You did nothing to solve the underlying root causes. If you go on a statin for high cholesterol, does that mean you can just eat any type of food you want, not exercise, any of these things? Well, if you go on a statin, it just masks the symptoms. It's like playing a game of peekaboo. Okay, we'll just pretend like it doesn't exist. But that's not the case. And that's why, really, I've say it again, and I'll say it again, and I'll say it again, and I'll say it again, that there is no alternative to alternative medicine. Anything else besides so-called alternative medicine, which, by the way, for the history of the world, except for the last 150 years, was always the form of medicine, there is no alternative to that because it's the only way that you get better. Unless you are working on the underlying root causes that we talk about every single day here on the Cabral Concept, you have no chance of getting well. And that's not to scare you and like that. It's to motivate you, to let you know that no matter where you're at right now, even if you're on the medication, even if you're on the drugs, even if you're not feeling well, you will get well. You will get better once you start to look for the underlying root causes that are holding you back from getting well. That's it. And again, no one figures it out. I didn't figure it out my first time. Remember, you turn over that stone. Okay, you get some answers. Then you turn over this one and you didn't get well, but you get some more answers. And then you go to the next one. That is how we get well. We start taking this nutritional supplement. Okay, we learn a little bit. We learn a little bit about our body. We start to change our nutrition. We start to exercise a little bit. Maybe it's too much. Maybe it's too little. We learn, we recalibrate, we tweak. That is how we get better. All right, I could talk about this all day. So what I want to do is get into our first question today on the Cabral HouseCall. You'll have to, I'll have to apologize for my voice in the beginning. I've been speaking all day. I talk a lot. I try to listen a lot while I'm in my consultations, but I also talk a lot as I'm explaining labs, as I'm trying to educate people, because that's really what it's all about, is the education part of this. Okay. So Monique is up first. Monique, I know very well. She's a private wellness client of mine. She's doing fantastic. She's a personal trainer. She's sharing her knowledge now with others. Really, really great. So she's writing in for one of her wellness clients, I believe. And her question is, being a wellness client of yours and seeing my own health transform makes me want to share that with my personal training clients. I just have a question for what you would recommend for one of my clients. My client is a woman, 24 years old, who had surgery on her ear a few months ago. I believe she had something burst in her ear or was about to. She was on bed rest for a couple weeks, taking lots of antibiotics and other medications. She constantly gets sick when she travels. She just got pneumonia. She's always feeling stressed. She's trying to manage besides school, trying to manage bank full time. We're working on meditation and stretching. I've suggested your natural calm before bed when she feels wired at night, like she sometimes does. I see how all this connects from all that I've learned from you. I'm just not sure which protocol or test I should recommend to her so that we can begin moving forward. She also been having a lot of trouble losing weight. She hasn't changed her diet very much. For the most part, it's healthy. I was thinking about your ENT protocol, which is my ear, nose, and throat protocol. But again, just want to see what recommendation is best. Thank you for everything. Love sharing what you've helped me with, sharing all the knowledge with my clients and everyone who talks about their health and just spreading the truth. Really great, Monique. Appreciate all the work that you're doing for the community. And it's honestly, this is why I do what I do, because if I get to help other health practitioners, and we have doctors and acupuncturists and personal trainers and nutritionists, registered dietitians, everyone listening to the Cabral concept, and if I can help 10,000 health practitioners and they can all work with maybe another 50 to 100 people a month, I mean, think of that impact. That's what it's really all about. I can only see a few people in my practice, but if I can get this message out, which is really what I'm passionate about doing, we can help so many more people, just like I was helped as well. So, here's the thing. Your client is clearly suffering from higher levels of stress. And not a lot of people know this, but when you suffer from higher levels of stress for long enough, what happens is your body, it starts to shut down one part of your immune system, meaning like the first line of defense is actually in the mucosal layer in our body. So when we breathe in through our nose or our eyes or any of these things, basically our skin, the mucus, everything is our protective coating, our protective layer. We have something called secretory IgA. That's secretory immunoglobulin A. And these immunoglobulins actually protect us from these outside antigens, these pathogens in the environment. Really, really important. But when you get stressed, your body starts to slow down that method. And the reason is it can't do everything at once. So typically, immune system starts to get lowered. Libido goes lower, hormones go lower, thyroid goes lower, cortisol levels go up. So if you're asking me what's my recommendation for this particular client, we need to really rebalance her central nervous system and her levels of stress. I know, of course, that's easier said than done, but psychologically, she needs to work on that, on her response to stress. Over time, you do realize that you do control your response to stress. I know it's not easy, but you can get better at it. And then physiologically, we need to make sure this person gets stronger, fortified with the right nutrition that they need so that the response to stress from a psychological level does get easier. So here's the thing. I could recommend vitamin C, I could recommend zinc, I could recommend the ear, nose, and throat protocol, which are absolutely fantastic for your client, and I would recommend. But what we really need to do is foundation first. So if she's not doing the daily nutritional support shake, or at least the daily activated multivitamin, she has to start there. Ideally, the Dr. Cabral Daily Protocol. It's the all-in-one. It's your daily nutritional support. That's your full multivitamin. Why? Because if you're just taking extra vitamin C, sure, you're going to boost your immune system. Extra zinc, sure, you're going to boost your immune system. But here's the thing. You need all the other cofactors to have the foundation be set. So you really need all the B vitamins, the vitamin D. I mean, it's so hard to say, like, what's more important, vitamin C or vitamin D or zinc for immunity? Well, you can't just choose one. You need to choose all of them. And you also need to make sure that you're getting what your body's short on. So at least start with the daily nutritional support, ideally the Dr. Cabral Daily Protocol, which is your 22 fruits and vegetables and a greens powder, or rainbow powder as I like to call it, because it's fruits and veggies. The daily nutritional support powder and the probiotic. I mean, that's going to do the most for her. And then what would I recommend for a lab test? Well, if she can only afford one lab, I would recommend the hair tissue mineral analysis. She's going to get a plethora of information from that. It is one of the most underrated lab tests out there. Now, it takes a little bit of study on a health practitioner's part, postdoctoral work or post-certification, to understand how to read a hair tissue mineral analysis, but it's amazing. If she does it through us, she obviously gets a 30-minute health coaching call with one of my health coaches to go through that. And then she also gets a review and an actual plan to go with that. So hopefully that helps. Of course, I would recommend the adrenal hormone panel if she can afford to do that as well. That would be a great one for her to do. All right, Johnny's up next. Johnny's asking, I noticed that part of the Dr. Cabral 7-day detox includes solid meals, not smoothies. I'm wondering if they are vegetarian or if there is a vegetarian alternative. Okay, so Johnny, really easy thing to understand with the Dr. Cabral Detox. If you just go to drcabraldetox.com, you'll see a little picture, a little infographic. It will actually show you that days 1 and 2 are 4 smoothies each day. They are shakes, basically. That's the Daily Nutritional Support Powder with the FM Detox and the IU Detox. That stands for Functional Medicine and Ayurvedic. 2 different types of detoxification capsules as well. What it does is it helps your liver function at a super capacity. We're giving your body all of the phase 1 and phase 2 nutrients that it needs to better cleanse your body, lower inflammation, help regulate blood sugar, all those great things. Now, food-wise, on days 3 through 7, when you're doing your lunches and dinners, here's the thing. Every lunch is vegan. Very, very simple, straightforward. We make really tasty, healthy vegan options. We give you a little mini brochure to carry around with you. And then dinner can be vegan again, or it can be vegetarian, or it can be paleo-based. So vegetarian isn't the same as vegan. Vegetarian means for some people it's fish, for some people it's eggs, for some people it's dairy, for some people it's all 3. It's just lacto, ovo, pescatarian, depends on how you define it. And then paleo, we'll just call it, would be you can have some meat. Now here's the thing. Although lunch is always vegan-based, dinner can be your choice, vegan, vegetarian, or paleo, and we give you the healthy options to choose from. Now, one thing I'll say as well is we have over 50 recipes, I believe, if you go to cabralsupportgroup.com. It is absolutely free to join. It's all positive people who have joined together on our one Facebook group who want free online coaching, basically, to work with a community. That's it. And we do our health coach, one of our health coaches, Julia Hayes, provides one amazing detox recipe per week that you don't have to be on the detox to enjoy it. And that's every single Wednesday. Check that out. Johnny, can't recommend it enough. It's the number one thing we do in our practice, and it helps people from a wellness perspective and a weight loss perspective if they choose the weight loss. Okay, and anti-aging, of course. Anonymous is up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I recently completed your 7-day detox protocol. After the first 2 days, I lost about 4 pounds, but my weight went up about 1 pound after incorporating food into the plan. Overall, I lost about 3 pounds of the plan, and I followed the protocol exactly as outlined. I'm seeing a naturopathic doctor for hormonal issues. It mentioned that I would be completing your detox plan for 7 days. I really want to invest in the 21-day plan, but was concerned about the amount of associated weight loss, since I don't need to lose that much weight. So, Anonymous, let me just answer this first part. You don't have to do the Dr. Cabral detox if you don't want to lose weight. Meaning, like, you could do the Dr. Cabral detox for wellness-based goals. Your goal doesn't have to be to lose weight. So we have thousands of people do the Dr. Cabral detox for wellness-based. And even the people who do it for weight loss are getting the wellness. The only reason they're losing weight is because we're helping them get well. Like, that's the bottom line. I am not in the weight loss supplement business. I am in the wellness field, not even business field. I help people get well. Because they get well, because their bodies get balanced, their hormones get balanced, the inflammation reduces, we drop the toxic water weight, they lose weight. Like, that's how it works. So if you don't have to lose a lot of weight, for you to lose 3 to 4 pounds in a week is fantastic. Our average weight loss is about 5 pounds to 10 pounds in 1 week for people who want to lose weight, 10 pounds in 2 weeks, 15 pounds in 3 weeks for the 21 day. Now, for people who don't want to lose weight, yeah, they typically lose a couple pounds still, but it's so easy to gain back once they just ramp their food back up. That's why we have personal trainers do it. We have all these people do it because they want to get healthier, and they just gain a couple pounds back if that's what they choose to. So that's totally normal. Now, in terms of you not feeling like your hormones are as balanced, it said later in the question that you're exercising 3 to 4 times per week, you're doing strength training, you're doing vigorous yoga, your diet's already pretty clean, you're eating close to the detox anyways, and you're just looking to balance the hormones a little bit more. So my thing is this, is that since I don't have the data in front of me, my highest recommendation is that you're working with a naturopathic doctor, I believe, is to have them run your hormone panel, so the adrenal hormone panel. If you want, add the thyroid onto it. They can see the one that we do. You can just go to stephencabral.com/store. Go to the weight loss panel. It's really just an adrenal and thyroid-based panel. It's not just for weight loss. But then you can see how active your T3 and T4 levels are. Really, really important. How high or low your cortisol levels are. And also if you're estrogen dominant, meaning if your body about 5 days to 7 days, especially that's when you should run this lab before day one of menstruation. If your cycle is normal, meaning like if you're still producing enough progesterone, really, really important to look at that, because if your hormones aren't balanced, you'll end up retaining more water weight than you would like. And that's the difficult part to lose, because that's not really body fat. That's inflammatory or hormonal based water weight. I hope that answered your question. I still really do believe that you should do and can do the 21-day detox, because the bottom line is, if you want to lose a little bit more weight, it will help you with that. If you don't want to lose the weight, well, you'll get healthy, and you can always gain back a couple more pounds after it's over by simply adding in more starches, more fruit into your diet if you would choose to. Hopefully that helps answer your question. Okay, Adam's up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I've been listening to your podcast for about 6 months, and I can't say how grateful I am to you and your practice for all you've taught me. God bless you, your family, and your practice, and keep up the good work. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate you saying that. My question is quite lengthy. So about 2.5 years ago, I took a supplement called a pro hormone, which was legal at the time, and that significantly increased my size and strength in my workouts. Later, I found out it was basically a lower dose of steroids, of legal steroids. I took this throughout college about 3 times. For about 1 month. I haven't taken anything in 2.5 years. I just got my testosterone tested and it was low. I'm 27, in great physical shape. I take your daily nutritional support, probiotic fish oil, and berry smoothie every morning, and vegetables at every meal, organic grass-fed meat. I would say I have a very good diet. I exercise 5 times a week, low stress. About 2.5 months ago, I had a hair tissue mineral analysis done with my chiro. It says I have low adrenal function, that my thyroid was a little overworked. Since then, I've been supplementing with a few different products, stretching, yoga 2 to 3 times a week. I still feel the same. I've been trying to fix this for over a year. I have very low sex drive, low energy at times, and I find myself becoming depressed easier than I used to. Have you treated anyone in the situation before? Could I have caused permanent damage? Is there a natural fix to this, or do I need to go on testosterone replacement at this young of an age? What should I do? I want to live optimally, and I am ready to get this fixed. Thank you so much for your time, Adam. Okay, Adam, I've worked with many, many men in your position, and I'm happy to help. Keep in mind that this may have nothing to do with the hormone that you took while in college. Now, I know that seems strange, but you're a young guy. You took it when you're a young guy. Your testosterone should have bounced back. This could very easily be a thyroid-based issue. When men have lower thyroid, they oftentimes have lower testosterone. It's not well known. This is not something that's really studied or really taught in schools as much, but it is taught in clinical practice, meaning that when you see this over and over and over again in clinical practice, you say, okay, there's something to this. So really, my thought process with this is we need to look a little deeper into your thyroid. What I'd love to have you do is run not just TSH for blood work. I'd like you to run your T4 and T3 levels. You can run the comprehensive thyroid panel that we have online, or you can run the adrenal and thyroid panel, which is just called the weight loss testing. I know we have to come up with a better name for that because I know you're not looking to lose weight, but that's the most comprehensive one. It's under the weight loss tab at stephencabral.com/store. You could, of course, always have your functional medicine chiropractor run that if you would like. If they know how to read it, then great. If not, you'll get my advice and you'll also get a coaching call with one of our health coaches. So if your thyroid is low, we have to boost that. We really do. We need to make sure that you're getting the selenium, that you're getting the iodine, that you're getting all the tyrosine, everything that your body needs. But at the same time, we also want to look at your adrenals. And if your adrenals are a little zapped, then we need to give them a boost. Now, what do we need? Well, we need to make sure that you are getting the nutrients that you need. Now, it looks like you're getting that because you're taking great products, but you might not be getting enough of what your adrenals and thyroid need. So that's just a little bit of a different story. Now, temporarily for your testosterone, what would I do? Well, I would make sure that you're not lifting every day. It says you exercise 5 times a week. I would do a Monday, Wednesday, Friday weight workout, nothing more than that. I would keep your rep range somewhere around the 10 repetition mark so that you're not overtaxing your nervous system, but you are boosting testosterone. That's a good mark. I would definitely stretch after each workout to calm down your sympathetic nervous system. I would add extra zinc with dinner. I would use maca powder in your morning smoothie. I would maybe add a little cordyceps. That's just kind of like an add-on if you'd like, but really just the maca powder will help. And Tribulus. Tribulus is a great product. It is natural. You can use it for a short period of time, and it can give you a nice little natural boost. I would assume that really within a period of about 12 weeks to 16 weeks, you should be able to boost your testosterone levels naturally. And again, this is what I found in my practice. I would also use magnesium before bed. I would get yourself in a nice, deep, calm, relaxing sleep, because that will also help to boost testosterone. So that's what I would do. I would run those 1 or 2 labs. It will go much deeper than a hair tissue mineral analysis because it's a hormone-based test. So the adrenal hormone is what I would run. And then I would ideally like to run your thyroid along with that, because the adrenal hormone looks at your DHEA and testosterone as well. Adam, hopefully that helped. Okay, Courtney's up next. Hey, Dr. Cabral, long story short, I've been dealing with SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, methane dominant, for about a year now. I've been on antibiotics and nothing seems to be working. I have chronic bloating and discomfort whenever I eat anything. I want to buy your Candida program. However, I'm scared that it's not going to work. Like everything else I have tried, I have spent so much money on medicines and doctor visits. I just don't want to try this and it failed for me. If this does not work, is there a money back guaranteed? I will do anything to stop bloating and be normal again. Please help. So Courtney, here's the thing. This is what we do every day in my practice. Again, my practice is 2/3 digestive based. SIBO, Crohn's, colitis, Candida overgrowth, IBS, name it. That's what we work on. We specialize in this. I've been using this exact protocol. It's been tweaked. It's been perfected over the past decade. It works better than anything else, and it works for all humans. That's the great thing about it. It works when nothing else works. And that's because, so if you didn't listen to the last 2 Wellness and Weight Loss Wednesdays, you have to listen to those shows. So the thing is, I go through step by step of why it works so well. And again, I've talked about SIBO, how to fix SIBO on many different previous Cabral concepts. I do hope that you've tuned into those as well. If not, please do go back, and you can just type SIBO in if you'd like. You can just go back and listen to the Total Wellness Tuesdays. You can listen to how I talk about it all starts with the gut. In terms of money back guarantee, please do keep in mind, as I've said it before, our Candida and bacterial protocol, which has now been called our kind of CBO protocol, it is not just our products. I pick the best of the best. My philosophy has always been this, that if there isn't the product on the market that I need to use with my private wellness clients, I will make that product. Even if it costs a lot, I will make it. And that's because we need it. It's just the way it is. But if a product already exists, that's fantastic. I use that. So essentially, out of the 9 products that we use, 3 products per month, it's step by step. We give you the meal plans. We give you everything that you need. Only 3 out of the 9, I believe, are my product, because I'm happy to promote anybody who's great. That's just the way it is. I'll promote anyone. So we can always give you a money back guarantee on our products, meaning the Equilibrium Nutrition. I'm happy to do that. Why? Because I'm not in this as a business. I'm in this to help people. But I cannot give you back the money on a Vitanica or one of those brands, because it's not my brand. It's not, those aren't mine. We basically buy it and we give it to you. And also the Candida protocol, meaning like if you price those out individually, it's over $360, plus we ship it free. That's another $19.95, basically our cost. So we're giving it to you for honestly, just over cost. And I've said this before, it is the program that helps people the most in the world. And that's why we're trying to do our best to pay it forward, to give back. That's essentially it. So hopefully that answered your question. But the bottom line is this: if you don't feel comfortable doing it, if you're going to be more stressed doing it because you're worried that it's not going to work, then it's just not the right time. I mean, that's it. I'm not a salesman. I'm not here to sell you on it. It's just not the right time, potentially. It's going to be your choice. I know it'll work for you, but you have to work the program. You need to do the smoothie in the morning. You have to ease your digestion. That's the way it works. It's just, you can get better. I mean, that's the bottom line. Everybody gets better. You just have to follow the steps. You're not going to be the only person who doesn't get better. I had the worst Candida overgrowth, probably close to it in the world, meaning it grew all the way up from my intestines into my stomach, up my esophagus, and in my mouth. I mean, they did an endoscopy and they couldn't believe what they saw. I had SIBO. I had these things. You can get well. It's not always a straightforward path, but you can get well, and you have to do something. You have to push forward. Okay, pep talk's over. Janice asked, can you please do an episode on black seed oil? So the answer is yes, Janice. I will do this on a Friday review, and I will do it coming up soon, definitely within the next 3 to 4 weeks. Do keep in mind, I've spoken about black seed oil in the past. And I've talked about the benefits for the skin, all sorts of different things. So we have a new special search bar on stephencabral.com/podcast. And if you type in black seed oil, it should pull up an episode as well. But I'm going to do a specific one just on the benefits of black seed oil because it really is an amazing product. Okay, last question of the day is from Amanda. I'm a holistic health practitioner and started my health journey about 3 years ago. Since then, I've realized I have a sensitivity to gluten and dairy, often getting leaky gut, even if I consume only a little. I feel that as I go down this road of health, although I feel amazing, I feel very restricted in my habits. Where my friends seem to eat the worst foods ever and don't have any problems, is this a natural cleansing process? Now that my body is so clean, it can't tolerate the poisons I've been putting into it. Is the reason why I react severely, yet my friends seem to have no symptoms. Second topic is identifying resources. Where is the best place to get my information? When I'm working on research to find the best information for clients, I use NHBI often, try to look for medical studies, but it's so difficult to find good studies, even that are backed by a bias or funded study. Last question. I heard you say cooking in oil causes acne. Can you explain why? Okay, so this is a 3-parter. All right, let's go through all of them now. All right, so here's the thing. You started 3 years ago. You started to clean up your gut health. I do not know if you actually cleaned up your entire gut health. So that's the thing. If you have candida overgrowth, if you have bacterial overgrowth, you're going to remain sensitive to these foods because when you eat them, they start to ferment, they start to give off gas, they start to proliferate as well. So unless you've done an organic acids test, you don't actually know if your gut's being completely cleaned up. I know that you've eliminated the gluten and dairy, which is fantastic. Like that's going to help. Both of those are high in fructans, and dairy contains lactose as well. Both of those will feed yeast. Both of those will feed bacteria. Both of those are inflammatory. Gluten's especially inflammatory as well. So again, if you do have leaky gut, then those protein molecules are very, very specific. They will leak through that gut wall. They will cause immune-based reaction. They will cause inflammation. My highest recommendation is the organic acids test. You run that, it will tell you about your leaky gut situation, your candida overgrowth, and it will tell you about your bacterial overgrowth and C. diff. So the other thing is you could do a food sensitivity test, and it will certainly show you what your other food sensitivities are as well. So that's the first place to get started, because besides that, I don't know if you're still dealing with issues, because if you're dealing with those issues, you can eat the best foods, but it doesn't matter because they're still there. You have to get rid of the gut bugs. That's basically what it is. Listen to my last 2 Wednesday shows. I talked about this early in the show on leaky gut. They are essentially all this different symptoms that come around with intestinal permeability. And then the follow-up Wednesday show is basically how to fix it. And I just go step by step through the protocol. That's episode 508 and episode 515. So you just go to stephencabral.com/podcast, and then you look for episode 508, and the other one's 515. You'll get all that information there. Okay, where can you go for research? Here's what I do. Research is great online, but you need to go deep. Read books on gut health. Read books on, whatever you would like. And then in those books, there is also typically the resources in the back, and those will give you lots of different studies to look from. I use PubMed. I use Google Scholar. Those are my 2 biggest ones, so hopefully that helps. And then cooking in oil causes acne. Well, only for some people. I never use all for ones. I definitely don't, say that ever. But for people with acne, what happens is when they're cooking with oil, people with acne a lot of times have what we call dirty blood. So they have a congested liver. The liver is not doing a great job at detoxifying, of cleansing. You might have extra proteins floating around your blood because you do have leaky gut, and those then are being pushed out through the skin. As in acne, there could be pH balances. Again, the liver helps with all of these things. The gut helps with all of these things. So when you cook in oil, you are creating more free radicals, because for the most part, unless you're using a coconut oil, a grass-fed butter, or a ghee, all of the other oils are going to break down. It's going to create more free radical damage. But even oils like heavy in coconut oil can still cause acne. Be simply put, because those are longer saturated chains, and the saturated chains are also hard to cleave and break off if your liver's congested, because again, it might be filled up with bile sludge and not producing and dropping the bile that you need to actually emulsify the fats. So this is a very in-depth topic, but essentially, yes, if your liver's not functioning well, cooking in oil is not a great idea. Now, for the most part, once you get well, a little bit of oil is okay. It's still not a healthy thing. Like no matter how you slice it, you are starting to oxidize at some level, whether low, medium, or high for polyunsaturated fats, which is definite no-no in cooking in oil. You're going to get free radicals. That's going to lead to advanced glycation end products. It's going to lead to inflammation. I'm getting way too in-depth on this, but yeah, that explains why. So kept it under the 30-minute mark. Thank you everyone for tuning into this Cabral house call, and I'm back tomorrow answering more of our community's questions. Did you know that the body really only becomes sick or imbalanced in only two ways? Over time, you become deficient in vital nutrients, and you also accumulate toxins internally and from the environment. As those nutrients diminish and you increase your total toxic load, your body then begins to show the first signs of dis-ease. It's actually quite predictable, and the good news is that if we know how you began to fill up that proverbial rain barrel, we also know how to empty it to begin the healing process. I was fortunate enough to learn this ancient healing process from my mentor after suffering from debilitating diseases for close to a decade. It was only when I began to implement these techniques did I finally overcome my illnesses and go on to live a life of energy and vitality that I now enjoy. I'd like to share with you now what I discovered after traveling all over the world and how to combine the best of ancient healing wisdom with state-of-the-art science. Allow me to teach you exactly how I've been able to help over 250,000 people to empty their rain barrel and begin to transform their body and lives into what they've always hoped they could be. To get your copy of the international bestseller, The Rain Barrel Effect, simply go to stephencabral.com/rainbarrel.